This video is brought to you by Toysarama UK. Use promo code TURTLETALK upon checkout and receive up to 10% off of these selected lines. That's promo code TURTLETALK. Link is in the description. What's going on, toy fan? Project Piper Customs here, and welcome back to another Project Piper Customs review. And today we're going to be taking a look at this little lovely ditty. Alright, and here we have the TYStoys 1/12 scale cross-country motorcycle, Batman style. Alright, and this is a third-party piece that was sent to me by Toysarama UK. And yeah, we're going to have a little bruise and have a little butchers and bust open and see what this is all about. So let me bring it a little bit closer. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a nice little picture of the image. Okay, this is sort of not really for Batman Begins, but they are using the Batman Begins and Dark Knight Trilogy logo. Alright, okay, and we just have a cardboard shipper box. It's literally all there is to it, made in China. Okay, nothing much more to the box itself. Okay, just apart from the front sticker. So let's not waste any more time, crack this bad boy open and see what we're working with. Okay, and here it is. Not much in the box apart from the bike itself, and of course we have the bat fins that come loose that we put together ourselves. So let's have a look at these. Get them out of the way. Alright, and these, well, these are actually die cast metal. Okay, alright, so they're really quite nice. They've got some weight to it. Alright, let's get some light over them so you can see the details. Okay, yep, these look really, really cool. I love the paintwork. Alright, painted black, but we've got some nice scratched silver dry brushing all over them. Sculpt work is really awesome with the dings and the bullets and the bullet holes, all the battle damage in a really cool Batman symbol. Yeah, I like that quite a lot. Let's look at the back. Obviously that's where it ports in. Okay, and you will see you get 4 of these. You get 2 front and 2 back. So these are the 2 front ones. Okay, again, all these pieces are die cast, and obviously as you can see with some little holes on the bike, and they just port in via the pegs. Okay, but again, just like the front symbol, really nicely weathered. I love the dings, as you can see there. Just little indentations, awesome little details here. Okay, great dry brushing to give you that weathered feel, and even on this side too, which is great. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, lots of battle damage on here. You can see all the dings and scratches and scrapes. Really nicely done. Some deep indentations there, giving you that battered look. And we have the back ones here. Let's take a look at these. And again, lots of nice weathering and battle damage. Okay, again, all these are a little bit weighty. We're going to just set these aside for now and bring up the bike up close and personal. As you can see, it's on a kickstand, and that does just sit there quite nicely. This is a light piece, so it's just the these parts here that are die cast. I believe the rest is in plastic. Alright, and it's just going over the deco now. Alright, both wheels do spin quite freely. The back one spins more freely than the front one. There is a little bit more resistance, but I do believe you could probably loosen that up with just a couple of turns off of the screw, just to loosen that slightly. But yeah, overall, I'm really liking the design of this. Okay, I'm not a bike person, so I don't know the ins and outs of the designs, obviously, but this one being a cross-country one. You don't normally see these out on the street, but occasionally you do. Okay, but design-wise, yeah, they really, really nailed it. Just from the memories that I've seen and the pictures I've seen, and you know, seeing them on TV, it looks bang on. Okay, so let's bring up close to the details. Again, we've got some of that, not as much, not as heavy, of that weathering on the edges. Obviously we've got engine detail there with silver paint with a black wash. Okay, details on the chain. You can say a little bit of silver paint mist there, but you know, just a little bit of QC. It's probably just on my one. That can easily be fixed with a paintbrush. Just finishing that off with a nice little touch. The chain doesn't move, that is static. Okay, this feels like a rubber piece, but it's got a great texture across the saddle. Okay, let's get that focus back in. Some nice sort of dents and bullet holes there on the tank, I'll just presume. And here we have the other side with the exhaust. chrome exhaust, awesome little details on the brakes. Again, with that chrome silver on the engine, with a little bit of black wash, and just some silver dry brushing across the edges, some more dentations there. And down to the suspension, spin it around, nice front spoiler. Okay, and it does pivot on the drive shaft here. Okay, steering column. Great look at those discs there. So yeah, amazing details underneath. Okay, I believe you can port a little stand in there. I'm not honestly sure what this is for. There's no booklet of instructions or anything like that. It's literally just the bike and those in a clamshell inside the box. That is literally it. Okay, great details underneath. The kickstand does obviously come back. So that is articulated. So you can have it down, chilling, okay, or while he's riding. And yeah, it's just a great little piece. I don't own any real 1/12 scale motorcycles. I did have a Ghost Rider Marvel Legends one, but I don't know where that happened to that. I can't remember if I sold it or if it's away in storage somewhere. But I don't really have any 1/12 motorcycles to compare it to. So this is really, really nice. So it'll be great to get into some size comparisons with some figures later on. Okay, but first we're going to get all of these little die cast pieces fitted onto the bike, and we're going to see how that looks. Okay, so these obviously just here, and they're going to port into this hole. Okay, so that the tail of the fins is going to be covering the tank like that. I've got this one in. It was a bit of a tight fit. You really had to push it in there, and as you can see, it is just in there, and it does move still. So I've got to try and sort of align it, and that's where it feels like it can be a bit loose. So I really have to start pinching it a bit just to get it to stay put. Okay, but we'll see how we get on with this one. Okay, so let's go for it here. Get that in there. All right, give that a bit of a squeeze without taking the other one off. Okay. All right, so the end result looks something like that. That looks pretty good. And let's get the back ones on and the front plate. And there we have it, all panels and plates fitted on, and they clipped on pretty well. As I say, when I just put it back down on the kickstand, with the sheer weight of all the panels being on as they're die cast, it does feel like it might want to topple, but it is just strong enough to catch it if you just leave it be after that. Okay, but as you can see, a little bit of movement, and it does want to just cripple over. So yeah, a little bit annoying, but it is strong enough to hold it with all the panels on. But let's kick the stand back and have a closer look at these panels on the bike. Now this one here, the front one, this does feel a little bit loose. Okay, as you can see, it ports into the bumper. All right, so it does feel a little bit wobbly, but you can adjust it. All right, it is in there. It's not going to ping out unless you really give it some oomph. Okay, but that does look really, really cool. All right, let's turn it around. Okay, and there you have the side panels looking great. Spin it around the other side, and we have this side. Oh yeah, this is a great little third-party piece to add to your Batman vehicle collection. All right, to his arsenal of motor vehicles, along with the Batmobile and what have you. But yeah, what's great is you don't have to add the panels on. Okay, this can just simply be a 1/12 motocross bike. Okay, for any figure that you want to use that you think might be in scale. And of course, now we're going to have a look at some size comparisons. Just notice that. Boing, 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 boing. Alright, to start off the comparison, we have him here with the Mafex Batman Hush, the Black Cape edition. Now, I don't own that many Batman figures, sadly, but I do have a couple and a couple of Batman related figures. So we're going to do a size comparison with all of those, and then we're going to do a little size comparison with other characters that you might want to use with this bike with the panels off. Okay, so starting us off, as you can see, we have the Mafex Hush Batman, and this looks perfect. Looks perfect scale. Obviously, this with the labeling of the box was kind of aimed for the Dark Knight trilogy sort of Mafex figures. I sadly do not own those. I did used to have one of them, but the leg broke as soon as I got out of the box. I'm not crying, you're crying. But with Mafex, they all have a similar scale, and I think this is a damn good comparison. Okay, and probably the figure that I would use with him in some shots. All right, and we're going to have a look at him on the bike very soon. Okay, but here we have the Mafex Batman Hush, but let's bring in the Catwoman. And here she is with the Mafex Hush Catwoman, and again, scales well with the Batman Mafex Hush, obviously from the same comic book line, and looks really good next to the bike. And next we have the McFarlane DC Multiverse Arkham Knight Batman, and he is so big he doesn't even fit onto frame. And as these are more of a 1/10 scale figure, I honestly don't think this will work for this bike. And just for funsies, we have the NECA 1989 Keaton Batman. And here we have him next to the Mattel DC Multiverse Batman Returns Penguin, and the SH Figure Arts Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. Alright, and starting us off with figures that aren't Batman related, if you wish to take the panels off and use it as a regular 1/12 scale motocross bike, we have the Mezco Netflix Punisher and the Mezco Blade. And here we have the Marvel Legends Hugh Jackman Wolverine and Marvel Legends Hood. And finishing us off, circling back round to Mafex, we have the Mafex John Wick. Alright, now it's time to see how Batman actually looks sat on the thing. So I've got Batman here ready to go in his riding pose with this stupid cape. God, I hate the cape on this thing. But yeah, here we go in 3, 2, 1. And there we have it. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. I honestly think it does look a little bit big. I think Batman is just slightly a little bit too big for the bike, but you can make it work, I think. Yeah, I think from some certain angles, you know, especially for like toy photography, sorry, and display work, I think you can definitely get some good angles on him, you know, riding and screeching around. And but yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously the cape flapping in the wind, best I could get it, but he sits on there okay. The two gripping hands I got on him, they're not really meant for a motorcycle. Obviously they're just two sort of semi-open relaxed hands, but they work. And what I did find is that these panels kept falling off every time I tried to put on him, so sometimes they can get a wiggle a little bit loose, and obviously this one is quite loose itself, so just be wary of that if you get one and try fitting a figure on. But that isn't really too bad. I do honestly believe that this is now 100% catered towards the Dark Knight Trilogy Mafex. I don't have one at hand, as I said before, to reference scaling, so I'm not sure how that figure scales compared to the Hush Mafex, but I do believe that this bike is definitely targeted towards that line, so you'll probably fit a lot better on there. We are going to have a look at some other figures, so here we are once again with the Batman, with the Mafex Hush, and yeah, I can definitely make this work for some displays. Okay, so moving on to Catwoman. Alright, and here is Selina Kyle perched up onto the bike, and she doesn't look too bad on it. A bit difficult to get her to stay on. As you can see, I had to use these sort of semi-open hands to hold the grips. As the hands I did want to use with her, which are over here. Yeah, these are obviously the ones for holding her whip, and the grips are just too thin, as you can see. I didn't want to risk bending them too much or warping them or even breaking them to the point where she won't be able to hold her whips anymore in order to get them around the handlebars. So they're in the open hand grips. Obviously it makes her stability a little bit lacking, but she's sitting on there and she doesn't look too bad on it. You know, definitely could work for some displays if you've got the patience for the grind. So yeah, so here is Catwoman on the bike. Okay, and now we're gonna have a look at some non-Batman figures on a depaneled bike. Alright, and here we have him with the Mafex John Wick, and I have to say I actually quite like the scaling here. I think he sits on it pretty well. Obviously I've just got the hands that I had on him originally, so there isn't, you know, a proper gripping hand on this side, so it's just resting, but you know, the hands that do come with this figure will work. And yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Definitely can work in some displays, in toy photography, or on your shelf. Alright, and here we have the Mezco Blade. Now I honestly think this is a little bit oversized for this bike, proportion wise. He's sitting a bit too high, but yeah, you know, he does sit on there, and you know, maybe from certain angles, if we tilt the head down, have him possibly doing a wheelie, it might work in some angles, especially in toy photography. But on the display, I honestly think this figure is a bit too big for the bike. And last but not least, we have Logan, and actually he looks pretty badass on this thing, I'm not going to lie. Again, it does look like it is a bit too big, and I'll show you here. So let's get the kickstand up, you know, but I honestly think he's riding it pretty well. You know, some really good poses, get him burning through the desert or the forest, you know, just claws out, ready to take anyone out that he's passing. But yeah, I actually think this really works with the Marvel Legends Logan. Alright, and so let me get him off the bike, put the kickstand back on. Okay, and as Marvel Legends Logan, pretty much works as your standard 6-inch Marvel Legend Hasbro figure at least. He may be scaling well with the G.I. Joe, and if that's the case, then I've got a feeling G.I. Joes are going to work fantastic with this bike. Overall, I really like this piece, but probably not for the reasons it had intended, being a Bat bike, but more for its versatility, to be compatible with figures outside of Batman with the removable panels. But that doesn't take away from the fact that as a Bat bike, it looks awesome. The die-cast panels can be fiddly, but as a display piece or a vehicle for your toy photography, I honestly think this is a must, and definitely a worthy vehicle for your Batman armoury. And if you want to pick one of these bikes up for yourself, you can find them at Toysarama UK, and link will be in the description. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, and let me know what other figures you could possibly see yourself using with this bike. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.